Now we're at the point where we want to sand the soundboard and the back flush. We left some overhang as we glued these on, and it's time to bring this down flush with the sides and the end blocks. There's a few different ways you can do this depending on what you have available for tools. One way to do it is to glue some 100 grit sandpaper on a piece of wood. Make yourself a sanding block like this and just set it. Now that's going to take a little labor, but that's okay. One thing to keep in mind is that these are this is a veneer of cherry on these sides, so it's pretty easy to sand through or cut through the veneer and see the inner core. So you want to avoid doing that if possible. A quicker way to do that would be to use an electric hand sander like this. That'll make a little quicker job of it. The easiest way to do this is to use a router with a flush trim bit on it. A flush trim bit is just a straight cutting bit with a bearing down here that stops the bit on the side, so it'll trim it exactly flush. Couple things to be mindful of when you're doing this with a router. Get some advice if you've never used a router before. Get some coaching. Somebody can help you, some of your people. You have this hole here for the violin peg, and before you go and route, you're just going to want to double check that your bearing isn't going to hit that hole. If you're going along and the bearing goes in the hole, you're going to put a nice little divot in the end here. It's not the end of the world, but it's something to be avoided if you can. So I'll crank this up. Of course, if you're doing this at home, you're wearing a dust mask and safety goggles and following all safety precautions. So you can see that using a router makes real quick work of getting that nice and flush. So pick your poison and have at it.